Hey, good morning, everybody. Been a few days since I've been on. Been quite a bit going on over here on this end, but having a good time, enjoying life. Birthday was a great week. Had a really nice time with that. So thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. Thank you everybody for spending some time and talking to me. Over my birthday from last weekend to through this week. It's been so nice getting together with everybody, friends, family. Everybody sharing their time with me and, making my birthday really nice and really special. There were a few things I wanted to share with everybody, things that have come to my attention over the course of the past week, and things that I've been thinking about for a while now. One of the big things with the Democrats and the leftists are, and I shouldn't really say Democrats because it's not all Democrats and it's not all liberals even. There are a lot of people who are abandoning, and they're condemning the actions of the far left that they have, in their group. And the ideologies and everything they're trying to perpetrate on our country and everything they are perpetrating on our country. Because let's make no mistake about it, the powers that be that were entrenched, on the far left used government, big government, to perpetrate what they have right now against us. The shutdowns, all the rules, all the fascist rules that they came up with, the laws, all these laws that they're trying to pass, suggestions of mandatory vaccinations in spite of all the science, in spite of masks, in spite of all the science and their own decisions and recommendations that they've had forever. So they utilized the front lines, the health department, they're utilizing these people and exploiting them and weaponizing them against all of us. So how did that happen? Well, these politicians and these governmental leaders, they ascended to power. And how did they ascend to power? Well, you had special interest groups that have been out there for decades pushing and driving these people to get into these positions and to erode everything that we've worked so hard on in this country, especially and including education. Now, education, as we all know, has been attacked for decades in this country. They've dumbed it down. We see it all. We see it all the time. Common Core came out, and America was always at the top of the mathematics lists and rankings forever in the world. Common Core came out and it destroyed our children's ability to be mathematical. And I forget where we are in the rankings, but I know we're somewhere around 50. It may be even lower now. There's only 197 countries, and a lot of those are undeveloped. A lot of those don't have very good educational systems at all. So for us to be as low as we are was a direct result of Bill Gates. Our educational establishment was attacked and has been attacked for decades. My brother has been in it. I have dozens, if not hundreds, of friends that are teachers out there. And they've been fighting the fight, and they see it. They see the dumbing down. They see the pushing every kid through. And this has been happening since I was a kid. 30, 40 years this has been happening. Pushing kids through the educational system, dumbing it down, not teaching us, not challenging us. Why did they do that? They want a society that is uneducated. They want people who can conform. They want people who will be complicit. They want people that will not question authority. And we're seeing that as a direct result of what has been happening here the past 4 or 5 months. Everybody's asking, where are all the strong men? You killed the strong man because you didn't educate him. You didn't show him that what his rights were in this country. So because you didn't think you had any rights, you never exercised them. You never wielded them the way we were constitutionally protected in doing. We didn't think we had it. We thought it was a privilege to drive. We thought it's a privilege to own a house. We thought it's a privilege to have to pay taxes, 50% of everything. I've said it before. The foot of these agencies and these government agencies has been on our throats. White male throats, black male throats, Asian male throats, Hispanic male throats for a long, long time. And not just male throats, but women's throats, mothers' throats, all ethnicities that it has been on. It has been on all of our throats collectively, no matter what your ethnicity is, no matter if you're a man or a woman or how old you are. The government, and you guys have heard me talk about this over and over and over again, about how our government agencies aren't working for us, that they're weaponized against us. They're there to sustain themselves. They're there to help themselves. They want to grow those government agencies as big as they possibly can. In spite of the proof that the last 4 or 5 months, they have not been doing anything, and everything is still working just fine. Services have been shut down. Courts have been shut down. Everything's still flowing, right? They haven't been fixing or repairing highways. They haven't been mowing lawns, which is within their purview. The thing that they should be taking care of are the highway department, are the highways, and they can't even do that. They create these parks and everything else. But anyways, I'll go off on a tangent there, but the policies that these agencies create, because they are established, these policies become weapons against each and every one of us. And how do they become that? Fines. They're going to fine us into oblivion. I can't tell you how many friends I've had that own businesses that have been fined into oblivion, whether it's a cleaning business, it's a pizzeria, it's a restaurant, it's a construction company. Very, very large construction companies that are shut down because governments are weaponized against them. Why? Because you have mental midgets that work in these agencies that are jealous of people who are successful. And that's what communism is, guys. Communism is a bunch of people who never could succeed, who never figured out how to succeed. They couldn't be the mother that had 2 or 3 kids at home, no matter what ethnicity, black, Asian, Hispanic, Arabic, I don't care where you're from. They fought hard to raise their kids. They fought hard to go to school, make their life better, have a full-time job, have a house, provide food, do all of this for their kids. Same thing with fathers. Fathers who are single and divorced. The system promotes being uncivil to one another, not civil to one another. Uncivil, I don't think that's a word, but to be not civil. They benefit from that. Family court benefits from it. Child Protective Services benefits from it. The police departments benefit from it. All of the court systems, they benefit from us not being civil with one another and not being able to figure out how to solve our own problems. They all benefit. They want that. The attorneys, you look at that. And I worked with so many people where I said, do not fight with your ex. Don't do it. Figure it out on your own. Be an adult about it, because you're going to save yourself a ton of time, a ton of heartache, and a ton of money. The only people that benefit from that type of strife are the courts, are the attorneys. And they want you to fight. They promote you fighting. So all of these agencies, all they want to do is they want to be against us. And that's exactly what it is. Like, I've been inside these government agencies working, and I've listened to the conversations that everybody has and how they feel about it, and how they feel about the general public, and how they feel about their positions. I've sat there and listened to town supervisors say, why aren't we issuing more tickets? We need more revenue. I've listened to town officials say the same thing. Elected officials say the same thing. They all feel that they are justified and entitled to their positions. And they all feel that it is their job and their duty to go after each and every one of us. Doesn't matter which ethnicity you are. Every once in a while, the Arabic population, they'll get benefits of not having light shine on them because they're in the media. And now it happens to be, if you're black, you're not going to get arrested or all these other things. And you're going to have the benefit because of what the media has done. But also you have these agencies that are the minions, and they're the people that are coming after us and have been attacking us for decades. So then the upper level, you have the politicians themselves driving that, creating these agencies, funding these agencies that are then weaponized against all of us. And, in my opinion, we have been under attack. Educational systems have been under attack. Justice system has been under attack. Law enforcement has been used, and we've been under attack. Family court, Child Protective Services, you can't take it. You get your salary as a man or a woman who's successful, and your man was a douchebag, or your wife doesn't want to go back to work, And if you have 3 kids, 32% of your gross salary is going to those kids. If you have 1, it's 17. If you have 2 kids with 2 different people, you're paying 17 and 17, or 25 and 25 in this state. Economists and sociologists all did reviews on the numbers, and they said it's way too high. They know it's too high. Why do they have those numbers too high? Because it locks us into a box where we can't fight. We feel like we are just being suppressed and we can't get out. So we can't fight these fights. We can't go against everything. It's too much to go against, too much to fight. You know, you've got everything that you got to do every day, and then you want to be able to fight in addition to that. It's too much. And they know that. So now educationally, what happened? They shut our schools down. And our schools have been essentially shut down for a long, long time. You know, I know teachers who have been told they push their kids through. 25% is passing on these tests. It's sick. And that's been happening for decades. It's the dumbing down, the sheer and utter dumbing down. Because if you don't have an educated society, if you don't have a society or communities that know what their rights are, if they don't know, you know, their history, that is how communism gets entrenched. That's how socialism gets entrenched. We've been being attacked for decades, guys. That's a fact. So now, you know, you have the schools were shut down for 4 months. Since February, they've been shut down. Teachers didn't teach. We had students that were pushed through, teachers saying that students didn't do any of the work. They didn't do any of the work because they knew they were going to get passed, because they were going to get pushed through. So you have an entire 4 months where nobody received any education in the state. Now you have the suggestion that that's going to extend into another year. Even though all the evidence from all these other countries show, and even from Fauci's testimony, that children aren't at risk and that all these other countries are operating, they have their schools open, they're not wearing masks, they haven't been vaccinated. Even though all that information is out there, you have Cuomo and other governors in this country saying education is going to stay closed. Why is that? Because they want to dumb it down even further. They want to oppress everybody even further. If you have to go out and get a job, or you have your job, how are you going to teach your kids at home? How are you going to do that? How are you going to make sure that those kids are learning? How can the teacher? Teachers can't do it, guys. The remote learning, it can work and it does work, but there are very specific things that you have to do. Did New York State Educational Department or New York State come out and tell everybody what it is you have to do to make sure your kids are educated? No, they didn't. They expected you to know, and they expected you to do it. And if you didn't do it, they were going to come after you. Child Protective Services came after parents who weren't submitting work to, the school or to the teacher. That happened. I don't know in how many cases it happened, but I'm familiar with at least one that it happened. It doesn't work, and it didn't work, and nobody was educated on how to do it. Parents were not told what to do. Teachers weren't even educated on how to do it successfully. They were just told, go do it. So you had an entire generation of kids, students, college students and otherwise, that got no education the last 4 or 5 months. And they want to extend that another year, guys. COVID, the death rate is so low. The death rate is ridiculously low. Like, you wouldn't believe how low it is. And they used this, they weaponized it against us. They attacked us with COVID, shut our jobs down, told us we couldn't go see our families. They told us we could not go to funerals. They told us we could not go to churches. They told us all of this stuff. And they're still telling us this, that we don't know how. If they were able to do it with COVID, they can do it with anything. Take a look at the numbers. Compare the numbers between COVID and compare the numbers with the flu. They can do it with anything. So getting back to education. So what happened in March? We all received our tax bills, right? We all received our tax bills in this state. Why did we receive our tax bills? Schools were shut down. Administrators weren't administrating. They weren't teaching the teachers what to do. They certainly weren't telling the parents what to do. Janitors weren't working. School buses weren't going. Utilities weren't working. They weren't using fuel for the buses. They didn't have to pay bus contracts. They didn't have to do any of that. They didn't have to maintain the facilities. Brand new sports complex right down the street from me, multi-million-dollar facility that Cheektowaga installed. For what? Why did they do that? The tax bill came last year. Now it came again this year. And these schools are, and I'm sorry to attack the schools, guys, but they're complicit in this. You have the teachers, they're not teaching. They haven't taught. They told, all the teachers that I know said, yeah, I was teaching maybe an hour, 2 hours a day, maybe. And I could not get students to do the work. I couldn't get them to submit anything. They knew they were going to be passed. Why? Because they talk. The kids talk. They know they're going to be pushed through. Why are they going to do anything? Parents with their hands up in the air. What do I do? But we received that tax bill, and the schools are doing everything that they can to justify that. That is something we can fight, guys, at a local level and make those changes. Working together, working with everybody that you have in your list that is like-minded, creating those groups, going to those school board meetings, which is probably not even happening, but writing letters, figuring it out, structuring together, figuring out what it is that we can do so other people can mirror it. I met a guy down in Albany. His name was Chuck, I think. He spearheaded the movement that in, I forget which town it was, Poughkeepsie, I think it was. And it was Poughkeepsie. He ended up spearheading the movement to get rid of fluoride in the water. The guy did it. He was just a guy, just a dude. Partnered with a couple of attorneys. And he's like, Pete, yeah, I'll show you how to do it. This is how we did it. We can make these changes, guys. The biggest thing is this. Democrats, the leftists, they have an agenda. They know what their agenda is. They're always working forward. They're always moving towards the end goal. They're always working towards the future. They're always doing that. What do we do as conservatives, as Republicans, as moderates, as Democrats, as liberals that aren't the far leftists, as libertarians, as anybody who's balanced and wants to be happy? What do? We go to work. We enjoy our families. We say it's good enough. I don't want to fight. I just want to live a happy, peaceful life. That's what we say. Well, living a happy, peaceful life and not doing anything is how we got to this point. How did we get kids that are so socialist, so communist? How do we get kids that don't want to work? Not all millennials are like that. There are a shit ton of millennials that I see that are inspired, that work hard. But how did you get so many that don't want to do anything? Well, because you got a government that gives out those handouts left and right every chance that they get. You have educational system that tells them you're not good enough. They're not teaching them right. That tells them, yeah, you should get those handouts. This is what you deserve. You have all these levels telling people you're a victim. All these different types of people that you're a victim. That's how we got to this point, guys. We weren't strong enough parents. We weren't strong enough community leaders. We weren't strong enough community organizers. We didn't do that. We didn't have an end game, an end goal. We didn't start trying to take it back. Some people did. Some people fought. And some people are still fighting hard. But so many people aren't. So many people are still sitting on the sidelines waiting, hoping, praying somebody comes along that does something. It's got to be us that does something, guys. People are people. These politicians aren't, some messiah that are so enlightened. They're just a person that elevated to a position because they were financially backed by somebody. And sometimes that's not the case. You take a look at Dave DiPietro or a handful of other politicians in this state and around the country. They didn't have anything. They were able to do it. You ask, well, how did they do it? Well, they fought hard. That's what they did. They worked together with the people that they knew. That's how we can affect these changes. So, the school taxes was one big thing that is talking about that. Why are we paying those taxes now? These schools are going to be completely fine. They didn't have to pay overtime. They didn't have to pay coaches. They didn't have to pay facilities fees. They didn't have to rent, and they didn't have to pay any of that stuff. But yet our taxes are still the same, and they're already positioning to justify why it's got to be higher. They're not saying, hey, they're not doing the right thing and saying, hey, yeah, we could take it back a little bit. No, which would have been the thing that should have done. They do what every true statist does, what every true fascist does. They keep moving the ball forward. And everybody else is like, well, at least they only moved the ball that much forward, and it didn't go any further. That's why it's at the point we're at, guys. That's why, and that's how. You know, another thing that you guys all have to watch for: this housing market is going to crash hard. Nobody has paid their mortgages. What I said from the very beginning was, put a hold on mortgages. Banks aren't going to get hurt. Banks aren't going to get hurt at all. You put a hold on utilities, you put a hold on any rent, any mortgages, anything like that, because then everybody can live peacefully. You wanted to shut it down, so then no taxes. Those three things you could have put a stop to. The government could have put a stop to. All of those. And insulated and protected people. But they didn't do that. They never did that. So guess what's going to happen, guys? You have people that haven't paid mortgages in 4 months. But what did they say at the very beginning? The very beginning of this, they said that once this is all over, it's not that you had a break on those mortgage payments. The bank said you're going to have to pay us these mortgage payments all at once. So if you went 4 months or 5 months without paying a mortgage payment, guess what? That bill is going to come due. So how many people who haven't been working, or even that have been working, that haven't paid their mortgage, have saved that money and are ready to pay it? How many people? How many people are able to do it? You didn't have the money. So guess what's going to happen? Banks calling notes left and right. It's what year was that? The housing crisis back in, what was it, 2006, 2008, whatever it was? That's coming all over again, guys. And it's going to be massive, massive. When that happened the last time, it was mostly secondary homes. It was mostly income properties that the bank seized, that people had, and they weren't able to make those payments on it. The banks, I hope it doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen. But the way it's set up right now, the banks are going to have massive foreclosures on homes, on rental properties, because people who own rental properties at this point, they aren't getting rent. The governor is coming out and county executives are coming out telling people, don't pay your rent. We're giving you $700. We're giving you $600. We're giving you however much money we're giving you, but don't pay your rent. How is that responsible? And then you're telling the homeowner, that landlord, they have to pay, they're going to have to pay everything. What are they going to pay that mortgage on? What are they going to pay that mortgage with? What's going to happen then? The banks don't need the money. They were given trillions of dollars already to help them right at the very beginning. The government employees, they were given our money. Billions and billions of dollars they were given. The state employees are all going to get paid. They're not going to do anything, but they're guaranteed to get paid. Governor Cuomo, one of the very first things that they said. Very first things that they said. But guess what? You and I, they didn't protect us. You know, they gave us money for I didn't take any money. I was one of the people that didn't take any money. I'm like, I'm not taking your money. I know it's my money, but I'm not taking it. Keep it. I'm not going to be enslaved to you. I'm not going to be endowed to you. And they, but this is scary, guys. Follow this. Follow the taxes for these towns. Follow the taxes for the state. Follow the taxes for the schools. Follow it. Follow it for the county. And follow this upcoming impending mortgage crisis. We're all thinking we're going to be safe. Oh, hey, things are slowing down. It's summertime. It's good time. Guys, I hope it's not true, but this is the quiet before the storm. Give them a little bit, calm them down. They were getting upset. Give them a little peace. Open up the malls. Let them go do some things. Let them go to the restaurants. Guys, we're under attack. We have been under attack for a long, long time. We're at war. They've declared war. It's a silent war. They're masterful in the way they've perpetrated this. Masterful. The next thing they come for everything else. Everything else they came for. The next thing they're coming for are our homes. They're coming for our rental properties. They're coming for our friends' businesses. Because they can. That's how they set it up. And again, I hope this prophecy doesn't come true, but I've been calling this from the very beginning. From the very beginning, I've been calling this, telling people that mortgages should be held, or not, delayed payments. The banks aren't going to be hurting. They have all the money. Taxes, same with the towns. You're not working, lay somebody off. If they're not working, they'll never do that. And then the utilities. Utility companies are hurting. We know that. These guys are making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, per year. Each guy. So those are things to watch for, guys. The biggest thing that I want to impress upon everybody watching this video is do something. Vote. They're already talking about, the Senate flipping. How is that possible? Election fraud. That's how it's possible. Google going after and hiding all the information. Facebook hiding and burying information. All social media hiding and burying the information. I forget the guy. I think he was an economist. He was from Harvard, and he did in front of a congressional hearing. He said that 12 to 25 million votes were steered towards Hillary Clinton because of social media and because of Google burying information. That was in the 2016 election cycle. Now, I told people that that's coming and that fraud is going to happen again, and people have been exposing that. We know that our posts are getting hidden. We know that any conservative post, any Republican posts are being buried. Anything with Trump at all, we know it's being buried. Project Veritas has confirmed this. That's how they're getting the votes, guys. They're threatening people who go to polling places. They're threatening people. And you have the elections, the Board of Elections, these people that have owned these elections forever. Oh, well, they got no reason to be anything. Oh, really? You don't think they have a political ideology, these people? And they're a part of government? Give me a break. I've been talking about election fraud for decades. Decades. And they're going to steal this election from us. Guys, it's right now July. You got July, August, September, October. You got 4 months. We have 4 months to do something. We have 4 months to call attention to every bit of fraud, to make sure there is no election fraud. We have 4 months at this point to back politicians, to back every politician that we need to expose every politician that is good, and to unseat these other people. We have 4 months. That's a long time, guys. We can make this happen, but we got to do something, a little something every day. These videos are a little something that I do every day. My posts are a little something that I do every day. I message everybody that I can every day. I get a lot of messages from people in Messenger. And I try to respond to as many people or like or love as I can, as many as I can. And I know I haven't responded to everybody, but be patient. I will get to you guys. So it's very important to do something. If we do nothing, guys, this is going to be perpetual. That's a fact. We can't get complacent. Last thing that I wanted to talk about today was, I had a friend of mine. He's in law enforcement. I won't say where he's in law enforcement, but I won't say where I saw him either, but ran into him. Haven't had a chance to talk to him or see him in a while. Great guy. I've known him for a while. And he came up to me and he was sharing his story about what was going on. This is what's going on with law enforcement right now, guys. A lot of these officers, men and women, are thinking suicide. They are in a really, really tough spot. Now, a lot of you guys know my feelings about law enforcement and how corrupt they are and how, the abuse of power there has been for decades. That's been a reality. That is a fact. There are officers and lieutenants and sergeants that are just corrupt and criminal, and they abuse their positions and have for a long, long time, and people know about it. And I always say that even the officers that know about it that do nothing are just as guilty as the guys that are doing it and the women that are doing it. And I've told everybody, case study after case after case after case, and instance after instance after instance of where these officers have been corrupt. And they have done what they've done to people and put people in jail that never should have been put in jail, or destroyed them financially. It's a big joke to them. I was in the holding center here in Cheektowaga 2 weeks ago, and they were laughing. They were laughing that they were doing what they were doing to people. That's how a lot of these officers approach it. But I have family and friends that are good officers, and I know that they fight hard. But I also know that the culture within the police departments, you don't step outside the norm. You don't. Because if you say something, you're gonna be attacked. You're gonna be ostracized. Even if you have a group of officers that get together, you're going to be attacked. That's just the way it is. That's the culture of it. Thin blue line, stand together. No matter what, no matter how wrong we are, no matter how bad we are. But this guy, he just wants to do his job, just like a lot of other officers. And I believe that he's a good officer because he's a good guy. And what's happening is, that night on Bailey, his car was being attacked. Attacked. Police officers' vehicles being attacked here in the city of Buffalo. And, it window destroyed, everything else. Bad. Bad. And, you have, a lot of officers, men and women, considering suicide right now. So be there for them. If you know law enforcement, be supportive, whoever they are, wherever they are. And, know that these men and women are being attacked out there. They're coming up with signs, getting in their faces, yelling at them. And they're just men and women that want to do their jobs. That's it. And they want to go home. You have a pandemic level, which was the whole goal and objective with this thing, to defund police. But now you have a pandemic level of people in law enforcement that want to commit suicide. You have a pandemic level of individuals that want to leave. I can't tell you how many people that I know that have wives or spouses or loved ones or family member that is law enforcement officer. They're like, yeah, they're getting out. Why are they going to stand it? They go work someplace else. So what does that mean? Well, it's just like when our military was being eroded 4 years ago, the individual that was in office tearing apart. And that was a fact, guys. I mean, I have so many people that I know in the military that were like, what is happening? Like, why are they letting go this guy? He didn't do anything wrong. All these senior officials and all these little reserve units and all these military units all over the country, they were getting rid of them. Why? Because they can then indoctrinate and program and brainwash and institutionalize the younger people that are coming in. The older people know the way it was. Like the 77-year-old epidemiologist that I know that said, this is all bullshit. She's like, this is all bullshit. Masks are bullshit, and this is why. And she has the science, and she goes into the science, and she explains the science. She's like, the science doesn't change, Pete. Human body didn't change. Viruses didn't change. 77-year-old epidemiologist that has her shit together, that knows it. And she's not the only one. The PAs, the nurse, everybody that I talk to that I report on, she knows it's bullshit. She's like, the virus is a virus. She goes, the death levels are way lower than most everything else. It's ridiculous how low it is. And she's afraid. She's like, why did that change? She's like, because the ADA, and these colleges are turning out these socialists, these statists that think they want to reinvent the wheel. It's just like in education. When you have a principal or a superintendent that wants to reinvent education because they want their name on it. That's what these people want. They want notoriety. They're making the changes that they should never make the changes for. So, get back to law enforcement. Support them every way that you can. Even if they're not a good officer, have that conversation with them. Support them. These men and women, they need that. They really need it. They're seeing things that they're not used to seeing. The crime right now in every single one of our communities, especially the city, is off the charts. And law enforcement officers are being instructed very specifically from the mayor's office, from the chief's office, to not arrest anybody that commits a misdemeanor, no matter how bad it is, no matter what it is that they've done. If it's a misdemeanor, do not arrest them. The crime that's going on in the city right now, we hear some of it. We hear just a little bit. Just imagine how much there really is going on down there in the city. I know so many cars that have been broken into in the city. And law enforcement, Buffalo police will never respond to that anyways. They're really not going to respond to it. There's nothing they can do. It sucks. It's a shitty situation, but At least the media and politicians weren't driving and fueling rage and hate and racism and prejudice and bigotry for their own means and for their own ends. At least law enforcement could do their job peacefully. Last 3 years, everybody says 4 years, whatever, everybody says it was so bad in a shit show. Talk to law enforcement and find out exactly how bad it was the last 3 or 4 years. It wasn't that bad. Were there pockets where it was bad? Absolutely there was. But now it's really bad. And it's going to get worse if we don't all start doing more and insisting on better. It's think about it, guys. Would you ever in your life think about attacking a police car or attacking a policewoman or a policeman? Would you ever think of doing that? No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't either. We'd be arrested. And now law enforcement can't do anything about it. They're being instructed by these people who have attacked us, who have declared war on us, that now police officers can't protect the people. Think about that. It's not that they're trying to arrest the criminal. What has the criminal done? They've committed a crime. What is the crime? Well, somebody's been victimized. Somebody's been hurt. Somebody's been injured. Somebody has sustained a loss, physically or property, personally, or something they own. That victim gets no justice at all. So the criminals are out there and they're emboldened. They're strengthened. They're like, nothing's going to happen to me now. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. It's just like the kids in the school talking. Hey, I don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. They're going to pass us automatically. You don't think that information is being shared in the community? Yeah, Buffalo police did this, they're Buffalo police that, you know what I mean? It's out in the media. Everybody knows it. The politicians are saying it. Governor Cuomo's saying, if you loot, if you riot, if you commit this crime, you're not going to be arrested. Don't arrest them. It's real, guys. It's a real problem. And in every single one of our towns and our communities, this is happening. Now, you may be insulated if you're in the suburbs, but if you're in different parts of this area, of the community here, it's getting bad. And it's getting bad for a lot of people. So be there to support, make sure you're there for the neighbors. Make sure you're doing everything that you can for everybody, as much of the time as you can and as much as you can. As much as you have to give, do it. So, we covered a lot today. It was a long video. Oh, and the other thing that I wanted to say to it made me feel really good. And it's one of the reasons why I do the videos. And it's one of the reasons why I need a new phone. So more people don't hate watching choppy videos all the time and it cutting out. But this individual told me that they really enjoyed watching my videos and to keep doing what I'm doing because it helps. And that's all I'm trying to do with these videos, is I'm trying to bring attention to things. I'm trying to help people. Even if it's one person that watches and says, you know what, I really like what Pete's got to say. And this individual isn't the only person that's come up to me and said these things. But I've been blessed to have, literally hundreds and hundreds of people come up to me and say, what you do for us, what you do, for exposing these things, they go, keep doing it, please, because it makes me feel better. I look forward to watching this. This is one thing that I look forward to doing every day. I don't want to watch this, I don't want to watch that. So the fact that I'm able to communicate information to you guys in a real and relevant and truthful and honest way that connects with you, that I try to eliminate all the bullshit. I try to eliminate, as much of the conjecture as possible. It means the world to me that you guys are connecting with that. And that's why I do the videos, even though they're choppy. And, I'll get this new phone so that hopefully they'll be, more smooth and then everybody can watch, and it not be so annoying. Because I know I try to watch it and I'm like, what the hell? This is painful. Just listen to it. Just turn the brightness down and just listen to it. Nobody wants to see my face and my mug anyways. But, and anyways, guys, that's what I wanted to cover. And I'll be back on tomorrow. I'm going to be back on, I'm going to try to get on every day. Like I said, it was a busy week with the birthday and getting together with everybody. But enjoy your day, guys. Love you guys, and keep up the good fight. And most importantly, I have a, thanks, Penny. I've got my niece's graduation party to go to today, so I love getting together with family. I love seeing those guys. I always love doing everything that I need to do, or everything that my brother has going on over there, and my sister-in-law. So it's going to be awesome seeing the whole family and being able to share this day with her. I know she was really disappointed in not being able to graduate, as were a lot of other kids that were deprived of their right to, we were paying for it, guys. We were paying for it. And you didn't get anything. You kids didn't get to go to, and the excuses, well, there was a pandemic. Well, then give us our money back. It's real simple. You didn't do anything. Why aren't you going to? Well, we need that money. Well, why do you need that money exactly? Sports weren't running. You weren't paying coaches. Were you paying coaches? Were the coaches coaching the kids at home? No. Oh, well, we were giving out food during the day. That's the big excuse, right? It's awesome. Commendable that you were giving out food. But it doesn't cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to do that. So, my niece was deprived of the right. So many other kids were deprived of their right that we all had, to go through and play sports and then go to college and have fun. And, she didn't get to graduate. So today's going to be a big day, and I'm really looking forward to doing that with her. I don't know, what's the goal rate for a graduation present right now? I'm thinking like a $5. I'll give her $5. I won't give her $5, but it's probably, I don't know what it was. I think it was maybe like 40 or 50 bucks back when I graduated forever ago. There's got to be like $1,000, right? It's got to be like $1,000. I'm not giving her $1,000. There's no way. I don't even know if I'm giving her $100, but is this supposed to be a hundo? I mean, $100 is a lot of money for a graduation present, but it kind of seems like bullshit that 30 years of inflation, 30 years ago, I got $50 from most people or more, right? Thanks, Penny. I got $50 or more 30 years ago, but you still only get to give $50 30 years later. So, I guess I'm getting out easy if I do give the $50. She is my goddaughter, so I guess I should probably give a little bit more. But anyways, that's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to today. So you guys enjoy your day. It was awesome seeing all your faces. I really do enjoy seeing you guys, pop up. Sometimes Facebook doesn't even show you guys. Like, it shows a number, but it won't show who's watching. So, in the comment section, that always shows. So if you guys always want to leave a comment or a like or something like that, then this way I get to see your faces there for a minute. Now it's showing everybody that's watching. So, I always enjoy seeing your faces. And because that's the thing, like, we all have little memories of one another, right? Whatever those memories are. We don't think about that consciously. But, when you see this person's face or that person's face, quickly, you have all this quick little message, this quick little gift that you have inside your mind that you're like, oh, man, yeah, I remember that story now, and, and you think about it. So, I love seeing you guys. I love seeing everybody's faces. Love seeing the comments or the likes. So just think about that. Put a little like up there. And, put a little like on there, put a little comment. Thanks, Jessica. And it means a lot because, like I said, not all the time will Facebook put your faces up on top where I can see them. It's what I'm always trying to do. I'm just trying to give you guys information and stuff to think about, something to ponder. And if it can drive anybody to do something or anything, then that's my goal and objective. Oh, and I did want to thank Stephanie. The group that she has, I haven't been really able to engage in it, and I want to. Their group is amazing. So I'm going to invite like-minded people to probably join that group because I know a lot of people are hurting and they want some of the communication. But great job, guys. Nick Orticelli trying to do what he's trying to do, with politicians, and you just got so many, different people, that Joe Palladino, and what he's been trying to do, Teresa Riley, what she's trying to do, Natalie Greer, what she's doing, Taylor Zablonsky, Autumn. I mean, the name and the lists of people, and then all of you guys that forward me information, day and day and day again. I love it. I love seeing that stuff, and that's where a lot of this content for the videos comes in. So enjoy your day, guys. I love you, and take care.